It's only week 2, but I think we just had our entry for Game of the Year, as Alabama somehow, someway, escaped Austin with a 1-point victory over Texas. Just like you, I thought this would be the day that Texas would finally be back. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to wait a little longer because what a game this was. There's a lot to take away. There's a lot I want to talk about, so let's talk about the craziest game so far of the college football season. But before we get into today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'm posting college football videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. Well, coming into this game, Alabama had 53 straight victories over non-conference teams during the regular season, which is an NCAA record. Well, it looks like that streak is going to live on as they extend it to 54 as they defeated Texas by only 1 point. Now, I talked about this earlier in the week, but seeing Alabama play a road game against a non-conference team truly is a rarity. I don't have the numbers up in front of me, but I think that this is Alabama's first road game against a non-conference team since Penn State about a decade ago. And I think I also saw this tweet saying that this is the furthest west Alabama has gone in the regular season during the Nick Saban era. So essentially, you never see Alabama playing in a game like this, and, well, I think we can understand why they choose not to. There's so many things that I want to talk about with this game, but I think we're going to start at the very end with the game-winning drive that Bryce Young had. Texas took the lead with a minute and a half left, but I think we all knew that was way too much time for Alabama and way too much time for Bryce Young. On that final drive, Bryce Young had 5 completions and a huge 20-yard run that essentially put Alabama into field goal range. Now, through the first 59 minutes or so, Bryce Young hadn't played the best game so far. He had a solid touchdown drive earlier in the 4th quarter, but through the first 3 quarters, the Texas defense had really held him in check. But on that final drive, Bryce Young reminded everyone why he's the Heisman Trophy winner, and as of right now, why he should be the Heisman Trophy frontrunner for the season. So that was a phenomenal drive from him, and I think again, we all knew deep down, once Texas took the lead with a minute and a half left, we all knew that that would be way too much time for Alabama. Had this been with 20 or 30 seconds left, maybe Texas would have been able to hold on, but a minute and a half, you don't give Nick Saban that much time, you don't give Bryce Young that much time, and like I mentioned, he showed everyone why he's the best quarterback in all of college football with that incredible drive with the game on the line. So major props to Bryce Young, major props to Alabama. That was the drive of the season for them, and they delivered in the clutch. Now, aside from that last-minute drive, Texas was pretty much the better team for majority of this game. I mean, this Texas defense played one hell of a game. They held Alabama to only 16 first downs, 5 of 15 on 3rd down, 1 of 2 on 4th down with a huge turnover late in the game. Like I mentioned, aside from that final drive from Bryce Young, this Texas defense held him in check all game. I want to talk about my biggest takeaway from this game though, and that's Quinn Ewers going down with an injury in the 1st quarter. Up until that point, he completed 9 to 12 passes for 134 yards, and this guy looked like he was the real deal. I mean, some of the plays he was making in that 1st quarter were truly remarkable, and the way he was looking, I think Texas wins this game by at least 10 points if he stays healthy. He exits the game, Hudson Card comes in, and this is an entirely brand new looking Texas offense. Hudson Card didn't play awful as he completed 14 to 22 passes for 158 yards, but this Texas offense looked entirely different than it did with Quinn Ewers at the helm. The Longhorns couldn't really develop any sort of rushing attack all game, and Hudson Card wasn't really that much better. So once Quinn Ewers exited the game, I thought this was a massive hit for the Longhorns offense. I mean, the Longhorns had a number of opportunities that they just fell short on. They had 1st and goal in the 1st quarter, but they ended up kicking a field goal. They had 3rd and 2 in the 3rd quarter, and yet again resulted in a field goal. Then later in the game, they had 2nd and 5 on Alabama's 7-yard line, but that resulted in a field goal as well. Those are 3 different possessions that could have resulted in at least 1 touchdown for the Longhorns, and that would have made the difference in the game. But instead, the offense fell just short. Not to mention, you had that missed field goal at the end of the 1st half that really could have changed things in this game. So overall, I think the Quinn Ewers injury played a huge difference in this game. Now, I know a lot of people are going to compare this game to the national championship back when Colt McCoy left with an injury, saying what could have happened had he not gotten injured and maybe Texas would have won the game. Well, I feel like this is going to be the same exact situation. What would have happened if Quinn Ewers didn't leave with an injury? And I know a lot of different things could have happened in this game, but I genuinely believe if he stays in this game and he's healthy, Texas wins this game, and they likely win this game with ease. The reason is, Texas pretty much beat themselves. I mean, Alabama had their sloppiest game in the Nick Saban era. They had 15 total penalties for 100 yards. Looking at Texas, they only had 5 penalties for 30 yards. They were given countless opportunities, but again, they just couldn't capitalize on them. Now, normally in games like this, I don't like to blame the referees, but there were a number of plays that really screwed Texas in this game. I mean, I should have been keeping track of this, but there were at least 4 to 5 pass interference calls that didn't go Texas's way. And a few of them were missed PIs in the red zone that would have essentially given Texas first and goal with a few yards to go. Again, I don't want to blame the referees in a game like this because I'm sure there were a number of calls that didn't go Alabama's way, but during the broadcast, even Joe Klatt was saying multiple times, yeah, these are missed calls that Texas is not getting. So between the missed calls that Texas didn't get, all their missed opportunities when they had to settle for field goals, Quinn Ewers exiting with an injury, and the fact that Alabama had the most penalties in the Nick Saban era, the fact that the Longhorns only lost this game by 1 point thanks to a last-second field goal is truly remarkable. I mean, again, this defense stepped up big time for the Longhorns. They looked like one of the better defenses in all of college football, the way they were able to limit this Alabama offense. The way things were going, I really thought Texas was somehow going to be able to pull out this victory. And not gonna lie, I was pulling for them too. I mean, this would have been a huge win for the Longhorns. I mean, taking down #1 Alabama at home, this could have been a program shifting win. Now, I think losing this game by only 1 point is certainly going to help the program moving forward, but this seriously could have been a program-altering victory. So, what does this mean for Texas moving forward? Well, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow as they could have moved to 2-0 on the season, and they really could have skyrocketed in the top 25 rankings. This is going to be a tough game to bounce back from, especially depending on the health of Quinn Ewers. If he's out for an extended period of time, who knows where this Texas team goes. I definitely think this is a better Texas team than a lot of people were giving credit for, and I think they probably could be a top 25 team at some point this season. I think they're going to be in the hunt all season for the Big 12 title game, but again, this was a win that they desperately needed that really could have shifted the program moving forward. But I want to tip my hat to Texas because they played one hell of a game. They were a 3-touchdown underdog and they didn't look like it at any point in this game. I personally thought that Alabama was going to wipe the floor with them and this game wouldn't even be close. I mean, if you would have told me going into this game that Quinn Ewers would only play 1 quarter and that Texas would only score 1 touchdown all day, I would have thought that Alabama would win this game by 40 points. But the Longhorns were able to hang around, and again, I gotta show major respect to them on that. So what does this mean for Alabama? Well, they're lucky to escape Austin with the victory because this easily could have been a loss for them. Had they lost, their playoff hopes would have already been on the line just after week 2. I think this is a really good wake-up call for Alabama. They cruised to an easy win last week, but they were put to the test this week against Texas. Their offense struggled, and aside from Jahmyr Gibbs, Bryce Young didn't really have anyone to throw the ball to. I mean, seriously, his running back led the team with 9 receptions for 74 yards and had the only receiving touchdown of the game. Aside from him, none of Alabama's wide receivers stepped up at all, and I think that might be a little bit concerning for this Alabama team moving forward. Looking at their schedule, they got to go on the road to Arkansas, they host Texas A&M, and they got to go on the road to Tennessee, so that's going to be a 3-game stretch that's going to be very, very interesting for this Alabama team. I thought overall they were very underwhelming, but at the end of the day, they picked up the victory, which shows a lot about this team. But man, overall, what a game for college football, and what a game for only week 2 of the college football season. It would have been really crazy to see what would have happened if Texas would have won. It would have been really crazy to see the overreactions from the media on both sides of the spectrum. But at the end of the day, Nick Saban reminded us why he's the best coach in all of college football, and Bryce Young reminded us why he's the best quarterback in all of college football. So, what are your biggest takeaways from this crazy game? Do you think Texas ends up winning the game if Quinn Ewers stays healthy? Or do you think Texas shot themselves in the foot with all the missed opportunities by kicking all those field goals? Also, what are your thoughts on all the missed calls from this game by the referees? Do you think that was the difference maker in this game, or do you think at the end of the day, the better team won? Whatever your thoughts are on this crazy game, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't done so yet, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be posting college football videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe if you call yourself a college football fan. Also, if you could take a second and drop a like on this video, I would greatly appreciate it as well. It helps out with that confusing YouTube algorithm to help share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.